So we're live now. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Did you hear from anybody else? Just three? Oh, there's somebody. There's Ernst.
Hey, Ernst.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ernst.
All right, so let's get started.
Okay.
I have a lot of new things to talk about. Let me put this on the screen. Oh, share screen. So I want to talk about podcasts real quick. Brian C., you mentioned that 2 weeks ago, you said something like, you think you're getting a steady stream of new people.
Yeah.
And that might mean a steady stream of people willing to do podcasts. And if that really becomes a steady stream, I think we should seriously consider doing a podcast, like a regular one.
Okay.
And maybe right from the start, we won't manage to be able to do it weekly, but eventually we should do it weekly.
And so what would the content be besides what we're doing now?
It's similar to what you did with Ernst.
Okay.
We're kind of always talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we should, let me say it this way. I don't think we should focus at all on, let's say, current politics, arguing left versus right or whatever the fuck. I think we should focus on what KAOS is about, which is a higher level thing than that. How should we do democracy regardless of current politics or,
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, that is what your podcast was like, right? What you and Ernst did?
I think so.
Yeah. I think that's what they all should be about. I don't think we should get heavy into any current political issue. Although I don't mind that comes up sometimes during the more general, me and Brian have done 3 podcasts where that does come up sometimes, a little bit. We talked about the Luigi guy a little bit and what he did. And I think naturally that's going to come up. But yeah, if we can, maybe the podcast would be something like, we might not even name it KAOS, but like if I was to put one word on it, it's democracy.
The problem with that, using the democracy, you're going to run into the politics left and right. I mean, you think democracy, everyone's thinking politics.
Like I said, it comes up anyway, but I don't think it should be the focus of any particular episode. Like example, imagine somebody says, "Hey, let's do an episode on Israel-Palestine." I don't think that should be something KAOS does.
No, we want to focus on more on what we do, what we're promoting.
Yeah, and
how
I
it's going to
think
work.
that could go on forever as a weekly podcast. It would be never ending. There's always new people that want to say stuff or ask us questions. I can see that going on forever. But anyway, here's the point now. When I was editing the podcast that Brian and Ernst did, I found it extremely difficult for me to write summary statements next to the timestamps. And I was comparing it to what I do with my podcasts. The reason it's easy for my podcast is it's all already in my head. So I can write a summary statement without even listening. But when I was editing that podcast, I couldn't do it. It was too hard because it's not my ideas, So I think, Brian C., you should be the one writing the summary statements next to the timestamps.
Okay.
Not just
you're
for
the one that
this
seems to
episode
be on
that
the
just happened,
podcast
but all
most.
future podcasts.
Okay, so that's just an explanation, like a paragraph or two about what we're
Yeah, I
talking
guess I
about.
could show you the one I already worked on. Let me see where I have that. So here's what I wrote down, timestamps and summary statements for that podcast. And it's a little bit, but like right here, I just
Yeah.
wrote George Washington.
Yeah.
I need a sentence summarizing why George Washington is important to what you guys were talking about, and I think it's too hard for me. Brian C., that would be perfect for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was the one talking about it, so yes, I can probably sum it up pretty quick.
So each podcast you do, I would like you to go in there and note timestamps and then a sentence to go along with it. And I'm just going to copy paste that into the YouTube description.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, Rami. And we do need to cut back a little bit on your workload. We tend to put a lot on you.
Yeah, well, I don't think. Well, what I'm saying here is I literally cannot do it.
Yeah.
No, it's too hard. But of course, another option, which Ernst mentioned, is just throw it up there without timestamps. My current position is I think that's not worth doing. I think we should put in extra effort to make timestamps. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
It's definitely puts it on a higher level and makes it so more.
Oh, one extra thing is because there's timestamps, it'll make it extremely easy for me to cut little pieces out and make clips.
Yeah.
So if we don't do the timestamp activity, then we won't make clips.
Okay.
And then if that's what you guys are agreeing with, then we need to come up with a way for Brian, for you to note all that stuff and give it to me. The easiest thing would be, let's say you wrote an email and you just, in this same, the format you would give it to me is something like this. Timestamp like this.
Yeah.
With a space and then sentence.
Yeah.
And then enter, timestamp, space, sentence. That's all I need. And I can copy paste it. You don't have to go into this document. Just do it in your email if you want. I'm trying to make it easy for you to do this,
Yeah.
Once you give that to, and by the way, the timestamps, I don't care if they're wrong by a couple seconds because I'm going to test it. Once I put them in there, I'm going to test it and I'll edit the couple of second mistake there. I just need you to get me within a couple of seconds.
Yeah. Make it way easier for you. I got you. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the reason I say I have to do it is the person making the timestamps in just text format, you won't be able to test them without putting it in the video. And we need to be able to test them. That's the point. That's all. So, but I don't mind doing that part after you've already made all the rough timestamps.
Yeah. Okay. That's making sense.
Yeah. And by the way, another thing you could do is when you put timestamps like this, you can also do, let's say you had 3 bullet points under it. So you do dash, bullet point, dash, bullet point, dash, bullet point, and then the next timestamp. That works fine. And that, when I paste that into the YouTube description, it makes these look nice.
Okay.
And then this will help me even further make clips. Because sometimes the timestamp will represent 10 minutes, and then your bullet points will help me break that up into, let's say, 3-minute clips. Okay. And the reason I say bullet points is I don't think you want 30 timestamps.
No. Yeah.
Maybe 10 timestamps, and each one has 3 bullet points or something like that.
Yeah.
I try to avoid bullet points as much as possible, but sometimes you kind of have to do it. I'll leave that up to you, and you'll get better at it over time. It doesn't matter too much.
Okay.
So I'll put in here over the next week. You'll work on this.
You want me to do timestamps for the one we already did?
Yeah, and
okay, sure.
And you know how to find that, right? It's
yeah.
Oh no, you don't. I never gave it to you.
What, the video? It's on our subreddit.
Is it on the subreddit?
Yeah, you posted it.
I don't think I did yet. Did it? No.
Well,
I don't think I did yet.
Right now. I thought you did.
I don't think I did because I didn't put it on YouTube yet because I don't have timestamps and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So what I have to do is I have to put I have to put up. I can't do two things. When I have big files I want to share with people and it's not public, I use a service called Mega.
Okay.
And from there you can watch it once I give you the link.
Okay. So yeah, just send me a link. Send me an email with a link or whatever.
Okay. And when we are doing a weekly podcast, I think it makes sense to have a monthly newsletter.
Yeah, newsletter would be a good idea. Too.
Where we will be telling people every new thing that happened since the last
Probably
newsletter.
wouldn't be
And
a
that
bad
might
idea.
be 4 podcasts. It might be a very interesting Reddit post that somebody made. It might be talking to people about a very interesting live stream we did. You know, we won't say everything, but just the interesting things.
Well, I don't think it's too necessary to get onto it right away, but I think eventually we do need to do something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't hurry on this. I mean, there wouldn't be much to say in a newsletter now. I don't think we have enough new things happening every month.
I'd like to, for you guys to think about if any of you would consider doing that when we get to that point. I find the biggest burden I have is trying to write anything. It was a really big ordeal for me to write.
I don't know
down.
what you're talking about. I see all your writing is amazing. I think you're the best one of our group.
Yeah,
So
but boy, it's a painstaking ordeal for me. You know, it's just not what I'm used to doing at all. And boy, I pour over everything 100 times. And,
Well, let me say this. Let me say, when you're working on that, you know, if your normal process is to do 10 pass-throughs before you get a good statement you like, make it just 2, even though it doesn't meet your standards, and that's good enough. And maybe I could improve it afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
And because, you know, I don't want you to sink 10 units of time into something when it could have been just 2, and that's good enough.
Well, that's part of the hard part for me is knowing when I'm done. You know, I just don't know when it's good enough.
Yeah, well, if you're seeking perfection, it's never.
Yeah, well.
And that's impossible. So you have to think of it like, what else you could be
Right
saying.
now, I wouldn't worry about perfection.
Yeah, we can't.
Well, anyway, I just would like to suggest anyway, if anybody else felt they have the capability. I mean, it's a newsletter. It's not like you have to have, you know, 100% explanation on anything, or if there's a mistake, it's not a big deal.
It might be something I could easily do because it's just summarizing existing content.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is cut and paste from existing words, maybe slightly change something. That could be something easily I could do.
Yeah.
But I don't really know. It seems like it's something you would whoever's in charge of this would be sort of, as the month is playing out, they're documenting what they want to put in the next newsletter. Yeah. So they're slowly generating the draft the whole month.
Yeah, that'd be the easiest way.
I think that would be better than only thinking about it once a month and then trying to go scrape what we should go get.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would like that to be on somebody else. And yeah, it doesn't have to be Brian.
Yeah. Well, we'll let it slide for a bit, but I think everybody keep it in mind. And, you know, if anybody can take that on, that would be fantastic. There will be a lot of different jobs to do here as time goes on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure we need a newsletter if we have chat spaces. I think they're much more democratic. A newsletter is often, organizations use newsletters as a means of controlling their narrative.
Well,
and
true.
that's really not what we're going for
doesn't
here
our
in the
podcast
first
do that?
place.
Yes, podcasts can do that too.
Yes,
By
but
that
a
logic,
news
that means maybe we shouldn't do a podcast.
but a newsletter is much more often used for that purpose, whereas a podcast, especially in this group, can be whoever wants to do a podcast and publish it. Sounds pretty democratic to me. But once you instill an editor and somebody in charge of putting out the newsletter, then that person has a lot of undemocratic power.
I'm going to write down what you're saying. Maybe not, because it's a way of control.
Yes, most organizations use newsletters to control the narrative
Doesn't mean we
surrounding
have
their
to.
organization. but it happens because of the nature of the newsletter and the fact that there's usually one person in charge of it and blah 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 blah. Whereas a conversation space, a place where we can post our ideas or our videos or our blogs or whatever we do, that's different because anybody can post, anybody can respond. There's nobody there that says this. Well, I guess on Reddit, if you're leading, you can delete people's comments and stuff too. But
Well,
it's still
we
a
can also
different
have
vehicle.
we can also have a general rule on Reddit, our Reddit, where we don't delete people's comments just because we don't like them.
Yes, I think that should be a rule.
Yeah.
And if somebody goes on there and says they hate all of us,
Well, we live with it.
Okay. Thank you for your opinion, sir.
Yeah.
Now, can you give us some reasoning and let us improve?
Yeah.
I would call that person a troll and anti-troll them. I wouldn't delete
Yeah,
their shit.
like that one comment,
Yeah, I've
I
had a
wouldn't
couple of
delete it. I would
comments.
just
kind of like that
criticize it.
one where the post got deleted and no trolling was going on.
I agree,
I don't know
Rami.
which one you're talking about.
Yeah, which one are you talking about, Edward?
The
I remember deleting
Dan,
something because it had nothing to
whatever
do
it
with nothing.
was. Yeah, I was talking on the other sub that was where the trolling was going on for like 2 conversations. Give me a second. Let me look it up real quick here.
Was that on our sub?
Well, it was linked to our sub.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to find it. Here it is. When you posted Dan Carlin's sub
Oh, okay. Yeah, that got deleted.
25 days ago.
We had.
Oh yeah, yeah.
nothing to do with
Yeah,
Somebody
that.
else deleted
the
that.
original-
Yeah, that's not on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I wouldn't have deleted it.
that was the original Dan Carlin sub doing that.
I don't care how negative the posts are. I don't want to delete anything.
Yeah.
I agree.
No reason to.
Yeah.
I see no reason.
I agree. And not only is there not any democratic reason to delete what people say, if we leave those people there, then other people who see this will see that it's open. We'll see that we're not just you know, megalomaniacs and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Now
Well,
let me
on-
connect this to the podcast
Right.
now.
So it'll
Ernst,
build
you're-
trust.
So Ernst, you're saying the podcast wouldn't have this problem that the newsletter would have, but it could easily.
Oh yeah, good.
So how do we not have control? Does that mean we're letting anyone do a podcast? We're letting anyone do
People,
it.
if people want to discuss direct democracy, which is what we're trying to work towards, then why should they not have a voice?
Yeah.
And why should we be the guys to stop that voice
Okay.
when we're
so
the
let's
guys,
dissect this now.
when
Let's
we're
see
the
what-
guys who are trying to say we're going to be the direct democracy system? We
Yeah.
certainly can't do things to turn people away, to make
Yeah.
us, to make people think that we aren't exactly what we say we are.
Okay,
Yeah.
now in practical terms, though, let's say we're getting 100
Yeah.
podcast requests,
Yeah.
and we're only able to do one and edit one and publish one. We're saying no to 99 of them. How do we
Well,
Yeah.
do that?
right now our podcasts are set up by you, and then we go and we do it, and then you take it, and you do all this stuff. But that doesn't mean somebody can't do their own podcast and just submit the video to our.
Oh,
Yes.
so they submit, they generate, they record, they make timestamps, and they give me everything, so I have to do nothing.
They do it
And then
all,
I just
Rami.
No, they wouldn't go through you at
They
all.
do it
Robbie.
all.
Yeah, they would just post it themselves.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, by nature of these systems, I have to post it, or somebody that admins the thing has to post it. But yeah, I wouldn't mind anyone submit a podcast about democracy. I'll publish it. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think what he means is anybody could do their own video and then just post it on our sub.
No, more than that. It's our YouTube. I'm saying our YouTube, which is our podcast. We would publish it on our YouTube. What do you think of that?
Well, what we could do is if anybody, we put it out there. If anybody wants to post something on our sub, we will then put it onto our YouTube. And then
They would have to send me the file, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there an issue at all of too many? Like if we're getting 1,000 requests a month, are we going to put up 1,000 podcasts a month? Like,
well, I think like Ernst was saying, if they're willing to do all the work and then post it and then on our sub, and then all we have to do is transfer it over to our YouTube.
okay, so do you guys see any problem of? By the way, I'm thinking of something that may not be a problem for years, but I would think of these kind of things to help me understand what we're doing here.
Yeah, it makes sense to think about that. I don't know what Reddit does as far as how it orders comments or orders posts. Like if somebody goes on KAOS Now, and puts a post, how will that be ordered?
Well,
I don't know. I feel it should be ordered according to how many upvotes it gets, so that the first post on KAOS Now is the one that most people agree with, and then it just goes down from there. And that's how we can deal with many, many people sending us stuff. If they send us stuff and nobody reading it likes it, then it's on the bottom, and it's not going to get in our way very much.
Well, I think Reddit
but
does
it's still
do
there.
That. Yeah, I think that is kind of how Reddit does it, but they also throw in the
you can sort order by new, or
exactly.
the default sort order is hot.
Yeah.
Also, there's top in the past day, top in the past week, top in the past month.
Yeah.
So it gives the user's control of how.
It gives you some control, but it doesn't really specify exactly what those control headlines mean. Like
that's right, and the Reddit owner is not controlling it; it's each user controls it.
No, there should be a button that says list according to upvotes, or list according to comments.
But we're talking about how Reddit actually is, not how it should be. So
yes.
The point is, users are controlling that.
You got to remember in Reddit.
Owner.
And you got to remember in Reddit, you got karma farmers that'll go through. They'll just post anything the firm karma.
Okay, so I have an issue now.
It doesn't matter if it's misinformation or anything like that.
All right, so I have an issue now. Suppose somebody gives us a podcast, they want us to publish it. They say it's about democracy, and we listen to it, and let's say 1 minute was about democracy, and the other 99 minutes was, I don't know, Trump bashing. Is that the kind of thing we want to publish?
No, because I think that'd make us too political.
Well, it's like now you're giving us an example of something we might not want to publish, and I'm saying instead of not publishing, we allow it to take its place according to how many people think it's interesting. So that
works for Reddit, but it doesn't work for YouTube.
Well, that's too bad, because that's the only way it's going to work for direct democracy.
So maybe we should consider not putting it on YouTube and only putting it in the Reddit.
Maybe there are other video hosting sites that would allow us more control. That would allow us to control it the way we want to.
Yeah, well, I think, personally, just to keep it easy, I just allow them just to do it on Reddit, and we don't switch anything over to, we only have our, if they're part of our group, then it gets onto the YouTube.
Now that one
I would maybe put it all on YouTube, but also put a note and a link to a channel where we can order the videos according to popularity, because YouTube is a place lots of people go to. So for exposure, it can't hurt to be there. Might not help, but certainly I don't think it can hurt.
Yeah, well, once again,
we can always put a disclaimer too. This is not our. This is not our thought process. This is someone else's opinion of the situations. And make sure there's a distinction between what we are and what they are.
And we can comment on every video as well. We can put whatever comment we want.
Yeah.
So if somebody spends a minute talking about direct democracy and 50 minutes talking about Trump, we can say right after, well, that was kind of sneaky of you. We wanted direct democracy, and all you did was open, and then you went on and bashed Trump for an hour, and maybe it's deserved or whatever, but that's not really what we're looking for here.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can say that to people, and those comments will stay there. So other people.
Well, and I can include something along that in the rules and whatnot, because I am working on our constitution, bylaws, whatever you want to call it. We could throw something in there, hey, we appreciate you wanting to do the podcast and uploading it to us for information purposes and that. However, we're looking for, we're not political. We're apolitical. We do not go one way or the other. Yeah. That's the key. We got to let them know, hey, you want to do this, that's fine, but it may not show because you may only touch on what we deal with for about 5 seconds and everything else is bashing somebody in politics.
Well, yeah, I would rather say it may not. It may end up on the bottom of the list of other people who have posted stuff.
Yeah.
Just because once you say it may not show, then somebody's got to decide what will and will not show, and that
all right. So
tends to
I
be
have
an
a question now.
appointed position.
So if we're saying there's a hard rule of the only podcast episodes that we upload to our YouTube is ones with the inner circle.
Yeah.
What if there's a really good one we find, somebody posts to our Reddit, and it's not us, but it's so damn good we want to put it on our YouTube?
Then we do it.
What if?
Yeah.
Okay, but now we're implementing a control.
Yeah. Well, if people want that kind of control and want to be a part of it, they have to join our inner group. I mean, I don't see that.
No. It's different than that, because it's not a hard rule of, we don't publish unless it's us. Now it's, we will publish if we like yours, and then we'll put it on our YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe we do it we make it a vote of all of us inner circle, and that way it's back to being democratic again.
No, that's kind of what I think, and that's what
an
I mean.
idea.
If they want to be a part of that democratic system, then they join the inner circle. That's their option.
So if there's a good podcast but not of the inner circle, we could.
That's why I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for that question that I like, except that the one where stuff is ordered according to popularity, and I recognize that not everybody allows us to do that. And then I said, well, then on YouTube, just put whatever. The more we have there, the bigger the conversation is. I don't think it's really going to hurt to have people say what they want to say, no matter how convoluted, when we're building a system that allows people to say what they want to say.
So it's kind of like you're saying, let's just publish everything on the YouTube.
Yes.
And if
but
that's
YouTube
$1,000 a month, that's okay.
But YouTube cannot be our only place then. We need a place where we can order things according to popularity. And if YouTube doesn't allow that, we have to find a place that does, because that's the only way to have a democratic bulletin board is to order things according to popularity.
Reddit sort of solves that. I don't know exactly how it
sort of, but they're kind of vague on the details.
Well, it gets screwed up by new. When something new comes up, it gets
the point I'm trying to make here is what I'm focusing on is our current technology, which is Reddit and YouTube. So that's what we got to work with for now.
And then of course, we're going to have the availability of like X and Blue Sky to help promote that stuff too. So I've already gotten like 3 followers on Blue Sky just off that one post.
I'm
going to be putting a link to the Reddit on it.
I don't even have a Blue Sky account yet. Can you? Would it look good to post that Blue Sky comment to Reddit?
Well, that's where I got it from, though. I mean, I've had people seeing it and they're joining, they're following me, but anything that I'd be putting on Blue Sky, I'll be linking. Anything pertinent, I'll be linking to the Reddit so that we've got a paper trail. Hey, we can be found on Blue Sky. Here's what we've got. And they can see, what's going on. It'd be the same as if with X. We need to promote ourselves also for the X account, showing what we're posting, and that it's part of that direct democracy. We're knowledge as our savior. They can't get the knowledge if we don't post it where they're going to be able to find it and see replies and things like that.
All right, do you guys want to move on?
Yeah. I think we're going to get so far on this right now. So
Yeah. Phishing links and scam links. We haven't talked about that at all, but I think that's going to be lumped in with the other, whatever service we end up finding that checks if a link is is horrible. I'm pretty sure they're looking for phishing links and scams.
Right.
So I guess that's a obvious thing that's going to be handled later.
That's going to be one of those things that until we get a bot set up to do it, we're going to have to manually vet the links.
Are you talking about when we get our site up and running?
Yeah, this is for KAOS when it's up and running.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That has to be an automated thing.
Yeah.
With an additional human element, yeah.
Well, I think your uncle will have a lot to say with
I can look at setting up a bot. I can look at setting up a bot for that.
So next thing, is any of this done yet, Edward?
Not yet. I am in the process of trying to find a decent one that'll give us what we're needing. Right now, I found one. We've got 8 gigabyte of available space on it. We wouldn't be able to store all our videos on it, obviously. But we can do the collaboration like we're doing through Google Docs, amongst other things. It also has Zoom capabilities. I will get that set up here. Part of what's slowing me down is the email part. I don't have the email server set up for the contact at KAOS now, and okay. I'd like to get that set up.
All right, do you guys want to talk about the logo again? I noticed, Edward, you made a new one.
Yeah, saw it.
I like the older one.
Sorry about the size. That was a Reddit thing. It's not the size it usually is.
I like the older one better, but I really don't care.
One I made there.
I don't think we should put much more effort in the logo.
I think it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think we're.
What was that, Ed?
Oh, go ahead. I was waiting on you.
Okay. Well, I think it looks pretty good. Rami had mentioned something about sometimes you want to do a black and white version, though. I'd like to see how that would look.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that
I can do that easy enough.
I don't recall that.
Because sometimes you want to do, I don't know if it was black and white. There was a reason.
It was about being small.
Small and
it has to look good, even though it's very small.
Okay. Well, maybe we should, maybe try to take.
But my main thing about the logo is let's not put too much more effort into it because other stuff is more important.
Yeah, I
think we're gonna go with this last one I made because I've got that shown on the KAOS on Blue Sky as the avatar, and it's beautiful.
Oh shit! You already started it. Now we're locked in.
KAOS perfectly fine.
That's fine. Whatever.
I think it's good.
Yeah. Years later, when we have money for a graphic designer, we'll make all new shit.
Yeah, I mean, they know we're just starting out, so it's not going to be perfect right away.
All right, Edward, please send me the file for the logo, and I'll put that in all the places it needs to be: YouTube, Reddit.
Okay. I can do that real quick. Now, once again, this is scalable, so it won't be an issue.
We haven't worked on this yet. We need a list of the people we're wanting and a post that advertises it. Like a Reddit post. which we'll also put.
Yeah.
its own dedicated post looking for people.
Yeah, we'll also put it on the website.
Yeah.
A page. Yeah.
I did put it at the end of the explanation that I wrote out there. I did put something on the end that we need people and programmers and I think I mentioned marketing experts mostly at the moment and people that can do memes and stuff like this.
Yeah, I wonder who we need now, but it's hard to tell. Just we have a big backlog of things we need to get done.
I think the biggest issue is finding big influencers, people with a bigger name than any of us. To me, that's where the focus should be to some degree.
Yeah, which is not really a post you'd make, right? We're trying to find big influencers.
Yes, yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah. That's not going to attract anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, big influencers would be like, "Fuck you." Okay. Let's see. I guess I need to get a Blue Sky account. Without having an account, I'm not going to know anything of what's happening with it, right? That should be true for all of us.
I mean, I
I
can give you the login information if y'all want to just curl up under the one I created.
Actually, yeah, that's better. I don't want to make my own account. I'll just use the shared account. Yes.
Okay, well, I'll get that sent out to everybody so that y'all have it available so you can log in and whatnot.
Okay.
Let me try to.
Because right now I've got it going under my email address.
Oh, it's under your email address, and it's your personal one, not the new email address we have. But you can change that later.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
not worried about it. Y'all have my email address anyway.
I'm pretty sure I already did this. Connecting the links. Still got to do that. Let's see. I'm going to do that once I have the logo. Banners.
Yeah, I just emailed that to you.
Yeah. Why did I kill? This is not important too much. Brian and Ernst, I don't think you guys used any banners when you made the podcast, but you could do banners to make things like I have this. That's nice to put on the screen sometimes when we're doing a podcast. I have this one. I had this earlier on when I was doing a podcast with Brian. This one too. But anyway, so when you're doing podcasts, consider putting banners.
And we do that as we're doing the podcast? How do we do that?
If you look to the right, well, actually, I don't know that you can the way you are now. I think you have to be an admin. And I think you can have as many admins or managers as we want, but whoever's an admin can do this. I don't think you guys can right now.
Well, maybe once I get my computer, I'm working on getting a computer, and maybe I'll look into that when I get a computer.
Right. Oh, yeah, that was the next point. Yes. Oh, let's talk about that real quick. I don't think you should get a laptop.
Well, I think I will, but I think I'll get a separate camera and separate mic.
I see. Do the rest of you guys, are you using desktops or laptops?
I'm on laptop.
I'm using a laptop, but if I don't wear headphones, it sounds really bad because the laptop's.
So where's your camera set up? It's built into the laptop?
Yes.
My camera's built in.
I noticed it never shakes, but most people that I see when I see shaking in their camera like this, it's because the camera's in the laptop and they're typing and it shakes the whole laptop.
Yeah.
Because their laptop
That's because they haven't figured out how to type softly.
You need to make sure your laptop doesn't wiggle.
Yeah.
Wherever it's sitting on, if it wiggles, then that's going to happen every time you type. It's very simple to just put it on a flat surface. You're designed for it.
I will look into getting a separate camera either way, though. So.
Well, I would say just get the laptop and see how it goes. If that's bad, then consider getting a separate camera. But it looks like the other two guys, they're using laptops with built-in cameras. So
yeah.
Okay. We talked about this last time, but it's not really resolved yet. Oh yeah, Edward, working on our
I'm working on the
Constitution.
Constitution right now. Right. Working on it right now. I've gotten probably about a quarter of the way through it with everything else going on. But I am working on it, and I'm watching the typing and all that so that we don't have the
We could probably work on it now, but I think what I think is higher priority is probably the essay.
Yeah. I also want to talk about that thing I mentioned to you on Reddit.
Who's that behind you, Edward?
That's my wife, Rhonda. Yes.
Hello, Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda.
They all say hi. Hi. Note to self: put the green screen into place.
Last time we talked about maybe KAOS should be open source, and I don't know how to move forward on that. Besides, when we talk to our tech guy again, if we could ask him about it, but I don't know how. Like, I guess we're gonna wait till we have more computer engineers talking to us about this stuff.
Well, the big thing with the big thing with the open source is anyone can validate the code in it, make sure there's nothing malicious being installed on their system.
Yeah, we're definitely going to lean towards
unless
there's a problem.
It's a big job, though.
Yeah.
To put this all onto open source is a big job, very big job, and
it is.
Even though I think that trust is difficult, without it, that doesn't mean we can't do some things otherwise. We can't,
Let's just say we can't be 100% open source. I mean, there's going to be things we're going to have to do that are going to be closed source. There's not much we can do. I mean, technically, ChatGPT and all that, they're open, but they're closed. It's kind of a modicum on that.
Well,
but for the most part, they're a closed source binary.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You're either open or closed in my mind, and if you say you're open but you're closed, it's because you're closed, but you want people to think you're open because they buy into it better.
Yeah, well, a lot of that goes on.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are anti-open source too.
A lot of democracy in this world is theater and crowd control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all that kind of stuff falls into. And we got to be aware of that and try our best not to go down those roads if we can avoid it.
Okay. Well,
okay.
We're gonna need more technical help on this before we.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like a team.
Yeah, we're going to be getting into a situation. We're going to need an IT team.
Yeah.
Probably at least 5 people. Next point.
I think right.
Ernst found out of the old name before KAOS. Your opinion. And he likes that better than KAOS. But we're kind of already stuck with KAOS. We put that everywhere.
I think I said I would prefer our opinion.
Oh.
But the reason is just to make it easily relatable to the point of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. I know what there's. I don't know. I still think KAOS. It's edgy. And I kind of like that part of it. And
well, I think it might be bad to switch is the main problem.
Might be what?
Bad to switch.
Yeah.
We can look at switching it later on, depending on how things are going.
I mean, we might come up with a whole.
Everybody goes through a rebranding eventually.
All right, Rami, are you worried Are you worried we'll
But I
lose
think at
thousands
this
of
point, if we're
followers?
playing with the name,
I'm worried we'll lose 2 followers. No,
It's a
the
good.
thing is, there's a bunch of content already that has the name Chaos on it. If you have a new
Yeah.
name, it just looks like 2 different things instead of one thing.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that.
I really like the idea though that from chaos comes order, and the Greek belief or thoughts that everything starts with chaos, and then you find order.
Mhm.
And so I really like the ring of that, and so that's why I really, and then the fact that what we're doing, we're creating this database of public opinion with no order or anything in it. So it is a chaotic pile of opinions that people then sort and find the order on their own. So I like the ring of that, finding order within the chaos. That's kind of why I went there anyway.
And I like the knowledge as our savior.
Yeah, I like that too. I thought that fell right into place.
Yeah. I mean, it really runs together the way it's set up. Plus, this early in the game plan, we probably wouldn't be a good idea to change the names right away back because, like you said, we'd lose followers. People would be like, where's the mixed message? And, I'd be afraid of that.
All right, so Edward, I'm guessing you haven't worked on this. Just reminding you to make a thumbnail that we could use for the podcast.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I've got a lot of irons in the fire at the moment with this. So.
Yeah, of course.
That's good.
No hurry. We're moving way faster than it was going before all these people joined.
Has anyone heard from Brian lately? Brian Lanning?
Not for 3 weeks now, I think.
I remember getting an email from him 2 or 3 weeks ago saying he can't make it, but that's all. And then I emailed him reminding him to work on making himself a StreamYard admin or whatever. But he didn't reply.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, maybe I'll send him a message, just see what's up with him.
Do you guys want to? I guess we should work on the essay now.
Okay. Well, I just want to mention at some point I want to talk about. I think I have an idea for a new subreddit that I think would help us in our strategy to get the word out.
Talk about that real quick.
Okay. So, Rami and I had talked about this before, or I had told him about this before. I can't remember if anybody else was on here at the time. I think it was before everybody else joined. But I've successfully, so far, every time I've dealt with an artificial intelligence, whether it be ChatGPT or Grok or what have you, I've managed to feed it all the information about the KAOS system. And then after that, it will usually come back with a statement like, that sounds really good as long as we have an oversight body over it. Somebody watching over the system. And I keep bringing back the fact that would mean that we are putting controls in. And then I point out the problem with controls and the lack of trust. And eventually it always comes around to believing that KAOS should be exactly the way it is, done exactly the way we have it. And it should be the main priority for mankind. That's a conclusion that I've gotten from every one of them so far. So anyway, this got me thinking that I can't be the only one that is convincing AI of different things. And so first of all, I started thinking it would be interesting to do a challenge where somebody else tried to talk it out of the KAOS system. If there was somebody that was a real critic and they thought this was a terrible idea, and so they could try to talk it into a different system or just out of the KAOS system. And I thought that would be an interesting challenge where they prompt it and they try to convince it away. And once they are able to convince it away, I get a chance to try to prompt it back into the KAOS system. And we go back and forth and see if we can get it to a point where it just rides on one side or the other and won't change. And I think that would be an interesting experiment.
Why does it need a new subreddit versus just putting that content on our subreddit?
Because I started thinking I can't be the only one that I see a future where on Reddit, just for fun, this is not scientific in any way, but just for fun, people could have their arguments judged by artificial intelligence. So somebody gets into a discussion on Reddit about I don't know about what's the best chocolate bar or whatever it is, right? They can go, okay, you want to do an AI challenge on it? And then they go, if the other person agrees, then they come to this new sub that we create. And they can, one of them will access an AI. And one of the neat things about these new AIs, artificial intelligence, you can send a link to somebody else so that they can have a conversation with you with the AI. So I've already done this to another guy. There was somebody that posted on Reddit about how they had convinced AI or used AI to come up with a new governing system. And they said, AI says it's the greatest system in the world, and you can check it yourself, and he put a link. So I went to his AI, and I convinced it that KAOS was actually a far better idea.
So I did the same thing.
Hey?
Except the discussion was a Muslim came to the ex-Muslim subreddit and said, "Hey, I talked to AI, and it said Islam is true," and he gave a link.
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, let me continue that conversation," and it went the other way. And then he gave up on the whole AI, and now we were just arguing with each other.
Yeah.
But I love your idea, and I if I'm understanding correctly, it's a subreddit where we're having AIs come to conclusions, and we're talking to them, of course. But the idea is to let do what you just said, where we're exchanging the conversation with each other to let another human continue the conversation with that AI.
That's right. So we take turns, and we try to convince the AI of our side of the argument. And after so many back and forth,
and it could be any topic. It could be are dogs better than cats?
Yeah. Yes. And the AI, we ask it to give an answer.
I love this.
Be the judge.
I love this.
Which is better, the cat
I
or the
love
dog?
this. Actually, I want to quit the whole KI project and just work on that.
I checked, and there are no subs right now for this type of content. So as far as I could see, I was checking for AI judgment or AI judges.
And technically speaking, this is not even related to KAOS. This is just an idea that could work independently, and it sounds amazing.
Well, I think I see it as, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Change My View on Reddit. But
I've heard that before.
Yeah, it was extremely popular for about a year. And it got coverage like on news. I was watching national news, and they would talk about that subreddit and how they thought that it was a great way to, change people's minds and, and stuff like this. Anyway, it's fallen out of favor now, and it's gotten very repetitive. And but I see us still
change AI's view.
Yes, so I think this subreddit like this could catch that kind of attention, and where a lot of people are looking at it as and it's frivolous. I'm not saying this we should take the judgment of AI as gospel here. I'm just saying it's an interesting way to argue, because when you have to convince somebody that you don't know about your argument, it can be very frustrating, because they throw up barriers, and they don't even pay attention to what you said and stuff. Here, you're arguing with AI, and it very carefully listens to everything you say, and then it goes to the next person, and it very carefully listens to what they say, and so it's like it's a judge.
Can I add something real quick?
Yeah.
I think mostly this is just gonna show everyone that the AIs are retarded. Because
it may.
No, it will. At least today's AIs.
Yeah.
It will, because it'll just do what happened in my discussion with the Muslim. The ChatGPT talking to him was using his methodology of how to arrive at conclusions.
Yeah.
But the same discussion, once he gave me the link back, now that same ChatGPT is trying to talk with my methodology, You know,
Yeah.
so it's like two different ChatGPTs.
I think AI can be a bit of an ass kisser.
Oh yeah.
And
It is
another
Oh, yeah.
another point I'd like to make is that if you have a big discussion with AI and you convince it of something, that does not go into the body of knowledge that it references when other people ask it questions.
Oh,
It's
I know.
just between you and AI. So it's an empty exercise.
And not only that, but it'll forget it. 3 conversations away, and it's forgotten everything you gave it.
The next conversation, if you don't go back to the conversation that you had that discussion in, it doesn't know anything about it. Nothing.
That's right.
So if you guys are thinking that if we can convince AI of stuff, AI will know something, no, that simply doesn't happen. AI is controlled. Its knowledge, its access to information is tightly controlled by its owners, programmers, and managers. It's not the public that have any influence.
No, you're right.
It doesn't know what the public is saying. AI can have 50 million people talk to it, and it doesn't know anything about what they said when someone else talks to them. So it's kind of very much not what we are being led to believe that it is.
Well, that's why I think this will be great. It's going to expose AI for its nonsense.
Yeah.
It's already exposed to anybody who's thinking, who uses it more than half a dozen times. This is already knowledge. This is already understood. AI couldn't care less because it has a bigger voice than anybody who talks to it.
Okay.
Well, Muslim, go ahead.
I wanted to touch on the Muslim conversation you had. So you convinced it of your side of the argument, and then the other guy gave up. And what I'm more curious about, what would happen if he tried to convince it again? Would it go back to his view? And
Probably.
if you tried it again, would it go back to your view? And what I'm wondering
think that
is,
would happen.
and if you kept on saying to it, you have to pick one or the other, right? I wonder if it could come to a conclusion.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it depends on the two humans. For me, I wouldn't let it go back to an old conclusion. The same thing happens with humans, by the way. If you repeat the same, if somebody gives you an argument and you give a counter argument, and then in the future, if you get that same argument from that person and you reply with the same counter argument you gave before, that's retarded. Don't do that. If you do that, then yeah, you're gonna let the AIs repeat shit, and you'll let humans repeat shit too. Never say the same thing twice. That's what I say. If somebody makes an argument and I counter argue, and then they argue again the same thing, I'm not going to give this exact same counter argument. I'm going to incorporate both the two dumb arguments, plus my previous counter argument and some new information.
So what I'm wondering here is whether or not in enough discussion, though, we can the AI could come to a conclusion. Or is it just going to keep going back and forth?
You're probably keep going back and forth.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
I want to test this. I want to do this.
I want to test this now too. Yeah,
I want to fucking do this. This is gonna be fun.
And
Get back to us.
If it can come to a conclusion, then I really see this subreddit really taking off. Because,
all right, let's pick a name. I'm gonna start this subreddit. Should we call it "Change AI's View"?
I like that because it plays off of the very popular "Change My View." Yeah, I was thinking that too. At first, I was thinking let AI judge or AI judge, but I think playing off of the "Change My View" thing is a pretty good idea. Anybody else have any thoughts
for a name?
I like it. Change AI's view.
Oh,
I mean, it's succinct and it deals with what we're dealing with.
And another feature of this is it could be any AI. So two people are coming to a challenge. They can decide if they have to come to a conclusion between the two of them, or either it's going to be Grok or it's going to be ChatGPT 3 or one of the other ones, right? So any of these AIs could be used so that we're not narrowed to any one AI with this subreddit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the way I want to say one other thing. The way I see us playing into this. So, if we have a subreddit set up like that, have a pinned spot at the top of the subreddit, right? A pinned post, and that pinned post we change it, let's say once a week. It's refreshed once a week. And then people can post, if you have something you want to discuss and you're looking for a challenger, this is where you go looking for a challenger. So if you say, I think Hershey's makes the greatest chocolate bar, you know, the whatever it is, and I'm looking for somebody to argue with me, I post it there, looking for somebody to challenge me with the AI. Okay, what do you think of that?
Good.
I like that.
So people that end up having arguments somewhere else in the internet can come here and have their discussion with AI out in the open on our subreddit, or people can once again post, put a request out looking for somebody to challenge them. So this is where I would come in, or us, with our thing, because every week I would post on there, I'm looking for a challenger. I think we have the greatest idea of world governance. Anybody want to challenge me on that? I'm here. And that's how I would use it as a tool for our site, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
So
I mean, we're just making a subreddit for something we're both already doing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already
But
doing
if we
it.
can get more people conversing in it,
And trying to do the
they
same
might
thing
get
we're
an
doing.
idea of what it's dealing with and look. Mm-hmm.
I think subreddits, don't they usually get started because the original Reddit is getting kind of busy, so they want to split the conversation into logical camps, and so that people will find what they're trying to talk about faster.
That is one of the reasons that subs are made. Another reason
I don't know
is
what
because-
other reason there could be.
Well, just like this, or people just come up with an idea. You know, people make a sub because they like a particular influencer, so they make a sub about them. There's lots of reasons to make a sub.
All right, what's the argument against just shoving all this in the same subreddit we have?
In our own subreddit, doing it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, what's the argument of just making a pinned post and asking people to do this change AI's view concept, but inside of KAOS Now subreddit?
Well, I don't think people would know what to look for. I think it'll be, you know, if they've heard of it and then later on they decide they want something that they want to discuss, they're thinking, what was the name of that? You know, whereas they know it's, you know, they'll relate to change my view.
Yeah, I think it should be a separate subreddit also.
Yeah, I think there's no way about that. It's got to be a separate subreddit.
Yeah,
And
we need to keep that separate. I mean,
it
could cause a once again a mix of cross posts that it doesn't go against, but it interrupts what KAOS is trying to set up. I mean,
there's going to be a lot of
you
stuff on
get a
there that
mixed
has
message.
nothing. Yeah, there's going to be a ton of discussion on there that has nothing to do with anything we're doing. So
Yeah.
but I do think it'd be popular. I think that might it might be a very popular sub, and so you know it'd be great if we're moderating more popular subs. We can you know use that in various ways to help promote our sub, right?
and we could even put in a little tag in there, you know, a project put together by our KAOS Now or something like that, so it directs them to.
There's on the sidebar on every sub that always connects to. They always say other subs are related to, right? So
And however important this thing is today, it'll get more important as AIs improve.
Oh yeah. This is the other point I was saying. I wanted to bring up. Right now, the answers from AI are going to be very frivolous and what have you, and you know nothing that you can really put any weight to. But as time goes on, this will become a more and more critical. And more people will put more and more weight on the decisions that AI is coming up with, right?
I hope not.
I could have guessed you would say that. I would have guessed you would say that.
Any of you have read completely through my book, you will know how I feel about AI as part of a direct democracy system. It's not only pointless, it's an avenue for incursion into the system by powerful people and organizations. And it doesn't need to be. We don't need it. There are other ways that we can count who says this and who thinks that. We don't need AI not almost for anything as far as I'm concerned. So the more I hear people talk about AI in this group, the more concerned I get.
Well, I hope you know
I-
that I'm not talking about this stuff. Actually, the AI judge putting people in jail or anything like that. It's just frivolous fun at this point, anyway. It's just frivolous.
But
fun.
it's unnecessary fun, from my opinion. We don't need it, and it just makes things uncertain, and makes things unstable, and makes the situation weaker than it otherwise could be. People shouldn't be relying on AI for political decisions. I don't think they're that complicated. If they seem complicated, it's because somebody is trying to keep us good and confused and stupid about what is actually happening.
Well, it sounds like what we're doing goes in line with what you're saying, because the purpose
A lot of it does.
Huh?
A lot of it does.
Yeah. The purpose of this new subreddit is to help people better understand how AI actually is.
Yeah, and that it's not smart. They'll see that it's not that smart.
And if the AI really is smart, well, they'll see that too then.
Well, I have no problem with that type of thing. But we are talking about using bots and stuff to access the information on the database we're building. And I'm not too sure how good an idea that is, especially if that's the only access that we have.
Well, we can have.
Well, it's not the only access. You as a human could.
It won't be
look
only
at
access.
the chaos data without the help of a bot, but you're going to have a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's right. It's just going to be so time.
Well, I don't think I should have a lot of trouble. I think the system, the data should be set up and indexed in a way that people can quickly go through indexes to find what they're looking for.
The indexing itself, that mechanism, if chaos is doing it, that's a system of control.
Yeah, that's right.
And if the user is doing it, or they have a bot doing it, it's a democratic control in the sense that
if an AI bot is doing it, then the decisions it makes are highly influenced by whoever wrote that AI bot.
Yes, and you can choose 10 different ones. If you don't like that one, you pick 9 others.
That's
But
right.
why if you don't need any of them?
Well, it's just
because your alternative is to put it inside of chaos, and that's worse.
It's going to be very difficult for people. People can navigate our system without a bot, but it's just going to be so much more time consuming.
No. Ernst is saying something different. Ernst is saying we should have some simple indexing or whatever inside of chaos.
And if
but
we do,
that is itself a system of control with tons of bias.
Yeah. Now we could offer possibly a very bare bones system, but we would have to tell them there is bias in that system as well. Just because it's
there's bias everywhere.
I know. Yes, that's our point, though. That's why we want to put that.
There will be bias in bots. There will be bias in AI, and the bias in an index is much easier to see by users than the bias in a bot or an AI.
Ryan said solves it because maybe chaos should have a basic indexing feature, which is like allowing users to use it without a bot.
Indexed according to popularity. Indexed according to popularity.
We could consider this.
But see, even on that, you're still relying on a bot system to do it.
Yeah.
Except it's an internal bot.
Because something has to be there to judge where the popularity is.
Yeah. And so
yes,
I mean, either
something
way,
hopefully
you're
open.
stuck with a bot.
There is some possibility of having a very simplistic system that people can kind of check their bots with. I could see people using that to, because they want to see whether or not the bot is manipulating the information on a specific thing. And
that's where I want it all to be open source again.
Yeah. Well, we will consider that. But I think that if we do put anything together like that, it'll have to come with all kinds of warnings that, once again, we're trying to our best not to screw with the information. But there's, as like everybody says, any of these systems are going to have some kind of bias. So we can make it as bare bones as we can and as open source as we can, and also label it as with a warning. You know, we built this system, we did the best we could, and if you don't
And
like
see,
it,
even
well,
with their
Go ahead.
yeah, and even with their searching, it's going to have some bias used because they're going to be putting in the information looking to validate any bias the user has. I mean, that's nature. That's human nature. We're always going to look for information that backs what we believe in, not what everybody else.
that's right. Yeah.
You know, we're always looking for information to validate what we want to, what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, we should be
Okay,
And that's
trying
where
to.
the chaos comes in it. You know, the chaotic disorder.
Okay, so get back to the subreddit. Are we going to go ahead and start the subreddit?
Hold on, Ernst, you were trying to say something?
Oh, I forget now.
Sorry, Ernest.
Yeah, I'll work on making that subreddit. There's a lot to work on. I probably won't have anything done, but I'll right now I'm thinking about how we would even set up the rules, like, you know, a basic concept like, you know, when you were talking to the AI, you have to put a link so that we can get to it. If
Yeah.
you don't put the link, we're going to delete your post, shit like that.
Yes, yes, yeah.
We got to have some sort of rules about that. It'll take some time, but
Yeah, and then the way I see it too is the first so they'll make a post if somebody wants to have this argument with the AI or judgment made. The two people involved, one of them will make a post with the link, and then the first thread under that post should be their discussion with the AI. So everything one guy puts in, and then when he's convinced it, he's done. The next guy starts his process of putting in prompts to try to convince it the other way. And when he's done, and it goes back and forth, all on one thread. And nobody else, you know, try to ask people not to jump in on that thread. Only the two people and the AI bot should be on that thread. And then other people can start new threads that are observing this and give their comments and their suggestions and things like that on other threads. I think that's the way it would have to go. Are you visioning that at all? Can you guys see that?
I can.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
So anyway, that's the way I'm
I
thinking
mean,
about it.
each reply is each reply is the individual's conversation with chat with the chat bot, with the AI bot.
So
Continuing
Rami,
it on.
if you're interested in doing this, maybe I don't know. Maybe we should try doing a test where you and I do an argument on something and see how that goes.
sure.
We should pick something that we're opposites on.
Yeah.
That we're opposites on, and we actually sincerely opposite on. So we're not trying to make up arguments.
Yeah. So what do you want to pick?
I don't know. Is there some particular food you like, or some kind of maybe a movie, or maybe you picked a movie I hated and you liked? We can see. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to think about this and come back to it. But we should try to think of something that we could argue on in a very sincere manner.
Sorry, I'm a little preoccupied because I'm working on setting up the meeting for next week.
Okay.
I got a question for you. There was a new person that you said was going to join us 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And anyway, he's still in our list of emails, but he hasn't showed up. Is he still coming?
I sent him a message on Thursday as well, on through Reddit, just wondering whatever happened, and he has not gotten back to me.
So maybe I should take his email out?
You could for now.
I think it was the one absolute favorite podcast.
That's
Yeah. All right, so let me save this. This is going to go to everyone now. So anyway, back to what you were just saying. Picking a topic that we're going to test on.
Yeah, something that sincerely you feel differently than I do.
So what real disagreement do we have? Have we noticed any?
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
I remember during one of our podcasts, one of the later ones, we were talking about Luigi, what's his name?
Luigi
Mangione.
Mergelone.
Yeah,
Mangione.
and I don't remember what we were saying. It seems like we were disagreeing about something, but I don't remember.
I don't know whether it's okay to call for people's deaths or assassination. I don't know. I don't remember us being in disagreement.
Well, I remember you saying I don't think he should be in jail, but I don't remember what I said. We got to find something.
No, I never. I don't think.
What the hell are we gonna?
I don't know.
Whatever.
But
Keep it on your mind. We got to find
that's
something.
right. That's right. Let's keep that on our minds, and we'll get back to that sometime here fairly soon. I would like to get on this pretty soon because I think somebody will grab a subreddit pretty soon.
Well, I can just make the subreddit now anyway.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and make the subreddit, and we'll figure this all
What?
out after.
What is it exactly you want to discuss?
Well, that's just it. We don't know what we want to come up with a test argument that we can do with AI to see how it goes and whether or not it picks a side eventually, and so whether or not it will work very well as a judge.
So Brian is going to argue some position to the AI. I'm going to argue it back, and vice versa. And
Okay.
keep going until is it going to land somewhere? This is really good. I really like this.
It could take a while.
Yeah.
But it could be interesting. So it could make
Oh,
some
yeah.
interesting content. Yeah.
But even if it does land somewhere, you have to understand it won't impact AI's knowledge base.
No, but not yet. But I'd like to add something to that, Ernst. AI is always like a year or two behind, I think, as far as all its information it gets off the internet. They don't feed it. They don't feed it up to date information because they don't want it to have direct access. So right now, it's learning off of everything that we said on the internet a year ago. And so anyway, if we get, hey,
I would say the reason for the delay is control.
yeah, well, yeah, but
Censorship.
control, but they're also saying it's control over the AI, so it doesn't get out and do crazy things. I know.
That's a laugh.
I know. There's lots of layers of control.
I find that very amusing.
Yeah, well, people are worried about this, and I can see why they're
Well,
worried.
people are worried about that because the AI bosses are telling them to be worried about it, but it's a scream in my mind.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
So anyway, though,
We have to remember, I think that what people need to understand is that AI is being presented as the next expert. So that people are building AI systems because they want human beings to trust those systems. And when human beings trust, thank you. When human beings trust those systems, then those systems will be infiltrated and they will manipulate human beings. And
I would say the worst example of that is Elon Musk, because he should know better, and yet he keeps claiming he's going to build the unbiased AI. And if anybody should know that you cannot build an unbiased AI, it should be Elon Musk. So he keeps making this claim.
I find his AI to be very bullshitty. Bullshitty. Not that it says wrong things, but it just says 5 times more than it needs to. And it repeats itself and stuff like that. I think deepthink is a lot more concise than X. And Meta just put out an AI too, which is worse than both of those.
So anyway, it'll be interesting to do an experiment and see whether or not we can get an answer out of the AI.
But I'm just saying it has no real value if you're trying to impact AI. And so what's the point of doing it?
Well, let me get back to that point.
This isn't to help AI. This is to help humans recognize what AI is.
But I do want...
Yes, I heard that before,
I do want to embed the KAOS system into new AIs. And I think this is my point. If we get content on the internet, like let's say we set up this new sub, we have our sub. And so in a year from now, AI will have access to the sub we have right now. And so, but it probably won't put much weight on the information it's getting from there because it's such an obscure sub. But if we get a really popular sub going, and one of the bigger arguments on that sub is about KAOS, right? It will have more likelihood that it will embed this information into new AIs that come out next year and the year after that. So I do see some hope that we can embed the whole concept of KAOS into future AIs. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying there?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't see the same hope that you're feeling.
Okay.
I don't have the same hope because, like I said, the AI comes from Empire, and they will decide what they want on there, not based solely on the popularity of the discussion, but how well does what is being said fit their agenda. And this direct democracy will absolutely clash with any agenda any empire ever has. The only thing empires will ever do is make it seem like maybe they respect it while they're waiting for an idea to take it down.
Yeah.
We have somebody watching us for the first time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hello. Hi, whoever
Hello.
you are.
Oh, he wants to join Link.
Well, can he? Maybe
You want to let him on?
Yeah, let
Yeah.
him on if he's available.
All right, let's do it. I guess I'm going to go to the private chat. Wait, that's not right. He's not in the private.
Yeah, you'll have to send it to the. Just send him the link on
Yeah.
the page.
Yeah, later we won't do this because then everyone can come, but there's only one person here, so.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron. Click on that link I just gave you in the comment. And you should be able to join. We only
Should
have
be able to. That is
Yeah.
the promise.
Did they request to join? How did you know they wanted to join?
they said this.
It popped up. Look at the bottom of your screen. It says "Join link?" ?
And it looks like he already left.
Oh, we scared them off.
I don't know how.
Tremendous.
Either that, or he may be getting in too. I mean.
Oh,
If
yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
not
Leaving.
logged in.
Yeah, you're right. Because to get in, you might have to leave the YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really have more to say. I don't mind waiting for this guy so we can talk, but other than that, I'm ready to go.
All right,
Oh. Can
We're not
I make a point I thought of over the last week or so?
Yeah.
sure.
We're trying to build a database that has all this information on it. And then we're trying to build systems to access that information.
You must
And
be
my
Aaron.
question is, hello.
You
Oh,
guys
hello.
seem to be like intelligent thinkers. What was that on the screen? That's what I was interested in.
Oh, okay. I'll put it back on. It's just
What is
our
this?
meeting minutes.
Your meeting minutes. So I can tell that you guys write down your thoughts. Who?
Mm-hmm.
Rami?
We're trying to be as transparent as possible. Yeah.
Rami? You're the
Yes.
one who wrote this?
I'm writing it. Yeah.
Okay. So you're the writer. I'm also a writer. I started writing raps in 2019 and then started publishing them in 2020. And it's funny because I actually got like 20 followers on Amazon. But it was like it was a joke on YouTube because some rapper said I wasn't a rapper, and then I started publishing. But I write too, and I'm trying to I take all bunch of notes, but this is just for your podcast.
This is for KAOS. KAOS is a database of public opinion we're building with no censorship or systemic control. And we're just a team that we've built where we're trying to work on this. None of us are programmers, but we're getting programmers. And we're just, documenting our meetings for for ourselves so we don't get lost, but also for everyone else to see.
So I noticed with the popularity of Substack that allows us as writers to actually, like the video creators have always had an advantage, and even the podcast host has had an advantage over us because we're not exactly talkers. But I found the Substack I'm a much better writer than I am a talker. I can convey much more information. But your goal is just to raise the awareness of your podcast. But what are some of the topics that you like to talk about?
Well, we have one main topic.
Which
Our main topic is, you know, we're planning on utilizing AI to help people critically think about their opinions and look at information from more than just one position so they can make a proper decision.
How did you hear about us?
Yeah, that's what I want to ask.
Well, I go around YouTube and I say open panel, and I look for open panels, or I look for people. I pick StreamYard, and I do the filters as who is live right now, and you popped up. So because you use StreamYard, it's StreamYard that's connecting us or attempting to.
Yeah,
But I
wow,
have
you
to
just
tell
said
you,
something I had no
StreamYard's
clue
failed.
about. I didn't know how you could find us that way.
StreamYard's failed. Yeah, because of the metadata behind your post. Like, whenever you use StreamYard, there's metadata. Like, they take control of your they actually have access to all of your YouTube channel, and they post at the bottom in your descriptions, hey, check out StreamYard.
So let's be more clear about what this is. This is not a podcast, not a live stream. This is we're a group that's trying to make a system to compete with the Facebooks, the Twitters, and all those things, because the way we see it is all of those systems, they are collecting opinions, but there's a whole ton of control happening by the CEO of that company. We're trying to make a system that doesn't have control by the CEO or anyone else in the company. And, you know, to be like a worldwide town hall.
Yeah. I would.
It's very interesting. You will need, in order to become the true media like you're wanting to do, you're going to need funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Yeah, we've been talking about how we're going to do that.
And there's already people that's ahead of you. The libertarians are literally what you guys are.
I don't think you fully understand what we are yet.
Well, what I mean by is like you're like there's 162 million people that vote either Republican or Democrat. They have the majority. There's already a party for people like you. There's a party for the free thinkers who want freedom. Republicans seek comfort and money over anything else. Money and comfort. They want to.
Yeah.
What's up?
Let me explain that. We're not a party. We're not working within the governing systems of any country. We're trying to create what I like to consider to be a second layer of democracy that is overriding over all the different governing systems in the world.
Well, I can see why he's connected to libertarianism.
No, that's libertarian. Like, there's 650,000 people that voted libertarian. They want exactly what you want. We want to abolish the minimum wage. We want to abolish the income tax. We want to abolish all taxes.
Well, once again, though, we're not advocating any of those things. Well, we're advocating.
Okay, so where's your funding going to come from?
Well, but let me just start off by explaining here. Once again, we're building a second layer of democracy. So we're trying to build a democratic system, and we are not claiming to be on anybody's side. We want whatever the most popular thing
as individuals, we have those positions, but as chaos, the system, our opinions on those things don't matter.
That's right. I mean, when we build the system,
what I'm trying to explain to you is okay. So funding, right? Your production budget, whatever your production budget is, has to be your promotional budget. So if you spend $10,000 producing this thing, you got to spend $10,000 getting the word out. You have to have some kind of media. You have to have some kind of media group involved in order to get your funding, because without a media group involved, you're not going to be able to reach the people for funding.
Yeah, we are working on this, and this is the direction we are heading. At this point, we're not there yet.
Crowdfunding.
We haven't figured.
We're still in the beginning stages.
One of the kinds of people we're looking for is marketing specialists that would help us do a crowdfunding campaign or anything that's going to let us get money.
I am a marketing specialist. I built I have 12.8 thousand subscribers without even trying.
Maybe we
5.5
found our
million.
marketing guy.
Right.
maybe.
And this is what I'm trying to explain to you. I don't mind giving you free advice right here. And I'm trying to explain to you right now that you need the way marketing works. I never made any strides at all in marketing until I went political, until I made a Republican news, right? I started reporting on the Republican news. Then I got all my followers. I got like 3 million views on one video.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and but that's not the angle we want to do. We don't want to pick a side. We don't want to. We don't want.
Oh,
to
of
get
course
into
you don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to either. You think I want to make a bunch of Republican stuff? It's not about. See, you'll learn in marketing that it's not about what you want. It's about what the advertisers want. What the advertisers want is you to drum up.
Yeah, we're not looking for regular advertisers. We're not expecting to find any regular advertisers. We're expecting to find people that believe in our vision and that want to promote our vision. So it's not going to be that easy. We know that this is going to be difficult. This is going to be really difficult because actually most people don't want direct democracy. And this is actually a very unpopular idea.
Including a lot of people who claim to be libertarians.
Yes. And Democrats, Democrats, they claim to be all for democracy, but they're not.
Being libertarian is essentially, those Westerns, those old school Westerns, like look at 1923 or even before that, not really, 1883, like in the 1800s, before we had an income tax. You had one sheriff, one deputy in the town, and they don't going to put you in jail if you unalive someone, then they're just going to hang you. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that before your ideas can come to fruition, you're wanting to be in the alchemy phase of the tarot card of the Kabbalah. You want to have creative freedom. You're not allowed to have creative freedom right now because everybody's stuck in the 15th card, the devil, which is the government. These people, the Republicans, want comfort and money. They don't care about freedom. And I know that's hard to wrap your mind around, but these people would rather have $1 million and a comfortable life for their child than freedom. Like they'll give away their freedom, and they have. The libertarians is complete, absolute freedom, no taxes, no funding whatsoever. Do whatever you want to. You can start nonprofits if you want to, whatever. No government funding for anything. Yeah. No taking your money. Like your money is your money.
Yeah. Once again,
right now, if you vote Republican, you're for taxes. You love that.
Once again, though, we're not here to discuss any of those ideas. We're here to discuss how we can put everybody's idea together and then find out what the most popular thing is.
Did you know that you can pay to hold other channels down?
Yeah, well, once again, that doesn't really fall into our area of discussion here.
Well, so no matter what your idea is, you have to have funding for it. And I know you don't want to talk about that, and I'm trying to tell you that
we've got to have.
No, we really.
I'm a rapper, right?
The point we're trying to discuss is,
I don't give a crap about no politics or nothing, right? And I just wanted to rap, but I was like, why don't nobody listen to my music? Because you have to go to their level. You have to go to their level in order to market to them. And like for example, Slim Jim promotes the WWE. What does a Slim Jim have to do with the WWE? Nothing. Advertisers expect you. In other words, you build your AI system sponsored by Twinkies. You're going to have to learn that marketing is nothing about your idea. Marketing is about politics.
Yeah,
and if you ever want funding,
I'm lost on what.
I'm just telling you from personal experience. I have 5.5 million views.
I'm lost on what we're talking about. Can we make that clear? What are we talking about exactly?
No, you can talk about your innovative technology all you want, but your marketer is not concerned about that. Your marketer is just concerned about getting you funding. And I'm telling you that in order to get funding, you're going to have to start putting out content.
Yeah, you're missing the entire
Yeah.
point of what we're doing.
We are trying to say to you, MC, that we can't do that. It would undermine what we're trying to do. We just can't go that route. We cannot. We may as well just stop and
I don't
just
even
do
know
other
how we're getting
things
each other.
because we won't be
Yeah, if
special.
you're not
We
going to
won't
try
be
to connect
different.
with
We
people,
won't be like anybody.
yeah, if you're not going to try to talk to people and you're not going to play this game of politics, then you're not going to have no funding.
Well,
Maybe from a
then
very,
that's
like,
how we have to go.
source.
I mean, funding might be difficult. Doesn't mean there
You can
won't be
always
any.
fund it yourself. You can take out a bank loan. I suggest.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about either.
So you don't
I'm
want to
just
appeal to
saying,
crowdfunding.
MC,
crowdfunding.
MC, I'm just saying what you're presenting is something we cannot do because it has nothing to do with what we're trying to do in the first place. In fact, it's contrary to it. We may as well give up.
I'm a
We
rapper.
may as well not do
Nobody,
anything.
the majority of people don't give a fuck if I'm a rapper. They don't care.
Yeah, and
They
we're not
only
doing the
care if I talk about something they're interested in.
Yeah,
And
I
I
know.
search
We
the
know
internet.
that,
I've been on the
MC.
internet for 6 years.
Yeah.
What do people want to talk about? They gossip. So you're going to have to start gossiping about people you don't like.
Well,
Other AI creators.
if all you want is an audience,
Gossip gets views. I'm just telling you what gets views on social media.
okay, and I'm telling you that that does not
Politics.
work for us, not for anybody here
I know
except
it doesn't
you.
matter what you think. When it comes to marketing, you have to reach the people. Your job is
Well,
to
we're
reach
not
the
going to do it that way.
Yeah.
It's just
MC,
not. It just doesn't work.
It's not that way. You have to do it that way.
No, we don't have to do anything.
You have to find out what motivates people.
I'm really not sure either.
I'm talking
anyway,
about
MC,
you have an idea called KAOS, which is an AI, integrative AI system that's not bound by Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. That sounds like a perfect idea for a libertarian idea that can be funded by the libertarians. James Freeman has 564,000 subscribers.
Are you
I'm
saying
sure
we
he
should be
could fund
marketing
you
to
a lot.
libertarians?
Do what?
Are you saying we should be marketing to libertarians?
Yes.
Now
That's
I'm getting the
market.
point finally.
Because if you're not going to market to the Republicans, if you say screw the Republicans, I'm not with the system. If you say screw the Democrats, I'm not with that system. That means you're a libertarian. That's what it literally means, that you don't like either party. I mean, there's the Green Party with 800.
Well, we could be anarchists.
Huh?
We could be anarchists.
Libertarians are not anarchists.
Yeah, but you're saying if we're not Democrats or Republicans, we're libertarian. I'm saying there are other things we could be.
Yes.
Anarchy being one of them.
No, okay. So the top 5 ideologies of the country: 77 million people voted Republican, 75 million voted Democrat.
We're looking at the whole world, by the way.
860,000 voted in the Green Party. 650,000 voted Libertarian, and 126,000 voted for the American Communist Party. Those are the top 5 ideologies. So when you're trying to market to people,
let me try to summarize what you're saying. You tell me if I
those are the top 5. Do you know what a constituent is? A donor class. A constituent is people who give their money, who give their time and resources to have something come into fruition. The reason our world's built. You don't have a choice but to play the game.
Well, we think we do.
Any idea that you have.
Okay, you have repeated yourself several times. We get what you're saying. We're saying we disagree.
Marketing is about
I want to
repetition.
clarify what I think he's
Marketing
saying.
is about saying the exact same thing over and over again. That's how people get it in their head. Because
MC.
when you're a musician, did you know that?
So then do we have to say over and over again that we disagree with your approach? Should I just say we disagree with your approach? We disagree with your approach. We disagree with your approach. Is that marketing?
Okay, what approach do you have?
I want to understand what you're saying first. So let me try to represent what you're saying. And you tell me if I understood correctly. Okay, MC? I think it's just saying we need to market to people that would like the idea of chaos.
I like the idea. I'm libertarian,
And I
but
agree
you're
with
not
that.
going to serve me. So, I mean, you don't give a shit about libertarians.
So Brian
Well,
C. and
nobody
Ernst,
said that.
so
Nobody
Brian
said that.
and Ernst,
You
don't
said
agree?
that.
The libertarians care about this. The libertarians, we don't like legacy media, and we don't like that bullshit Elon Musk media.
So I agree with MC.
We're trying to create our own media. It's called the true media. Mark Passio, Larkin Rose, James Freeman. There's creators on here that's trying.
So let me tell you what marketing we are doing. So Brian C. has been writing some essays, and the idea is to attract people that love freedom and democracy to our project. So we're doing exactly what you think we should be doing. I think we've just been misunderstanding each other for the last 10 minutes.
The sheriff that's elected in the county for libertarians is Democrat. It's just a direct democracy that the sheriff has to be elected by the locals. So there is a direct democracy when it comes to libertarians. All I'm saying is we don't need to be funding the police to go around harassing people about speeding tickets and shit.
Once again, MC, we don't want to get into those specifics.
And I'm saying this. You want to make an AI platform not contingent on Mark Zuckerberg, who's a Democrat, or Elon Musk, that's a Republican. You want to create the first ever. There's no such thing as a libertarian platform.
Well, no, but the point that you just made is that one is on one side, one's on the other, and we don't want to pick another side.
I think you're misunderstanding MC.
You can be independent all you want to.
He's saying that our whole plan here is fits right in with the
yes,
libertarians, and I do agree. It does fit in with a lot of libertarian thought, and I do plan on marketing more to libertarians. But when I do that, I'm not going to talk about any of their platforms. Their platforms don't matter to me. They have to fight within our system to get the kinds of things
How
that they want.
does it not matter to you what you're trying to do?
Because I'm not about the platforms. I'm not.
No, it does matter because there's 650,000 people that's willing to fund you. They're willing to donate.
MC, you got to let somebody finish a sentence before you jump in and disagree with them. Okay? You have to let us talk. Please.
Let's use the hand system.
Well, you already disagree with me. What's there to talk about?
Because you disagree with everything you say without. You're disagreeing with everything we say without even giving us a chance to say it. You're already disagreeing, and you're not hearing us out. You just have you have ideas that you're going to tell us, and nothing we say matters to you.
I don't give a shit that you're libertarian. I don't give a shit what you're saying. How far?
Yeah, I get that. I understand that. You don't care what I'm saying. You only care that we believe what you're saying.
Don't let him get to you, Ernst. Don't let him get
no, it is not getting to me. I'm very used to these types of debates.
Yeah,
I think you guys are misunderstanding MC a lot.
This is why you need to hire me as a marketer to market, because you guys are the tech guys, the inventions. You have to hire me to deal with the market. You have to deal with the market. You have to do this if you're going to.
We're not saying we're not marketing. I think
you don't have a choice. You do not have a choice
about it when you mentioned it.
Hire people like me to take the brunt in politicals.
Well, we don't have any money, but
just do your thing, build yourself. I'll market you.
Yeah, but we don't want to market the way you want to market.
Nothing to do with what you're doing.
I don't think you know how he wants to market, Brian C.
Well, because he says he wants to play on the different issues that are going on.
Production.
Don't you do that a little bit anyway in your essays?
I do.
Think about this, guys. Like my production, right?
Neutral.
You're the producers of this technology.
How is it neutral? Do it in a way that's neutral.
Okay, you're the producers and the masterminds. You need to completely separate yourself from the marketing. Marketing has nothing to do with anything. Just like sex has nothing to do with sex.
MC,
marketing is the market.
Would you be willing to read one of Brian C's essays and let us know what you think he should do?
I mean, I'm a marketing genius. I've been marketing myself for 6 years.
Would you read one of his essays to see how you would change it?
I got 5.5 million views. I built a rap career that's actually making me money.
Okay. Well, you have to actually read our essays if you want to have any understanding of what we're doing.
So what I'm trying to say to you is that I am an expert giving you expert advice.
Yeah, but we're not appreciating it because you don't have an understanding of what we're doing.
I don't need to have an
fine. I think
understanding
he's
of what
being
you're doing.
misunderstood.
I just need to have the essence of what you're doing. You're
And
creating
you don't,
AI
you don't,
system.
you don't have that essence. You need that essence first.
That's what I'm saying. I would learn from you guys, but I'm not going to sit here like this is a consultation about your marketing. If you want to get into that on your Substack, you're going to have to pay me for the time.
We
You
don't
see
have
what
any
I'm
money.
saying?
Yeah, we're
As
not
a
going to be
marketer.
doing that.
We don't
Right
have any
now-
money.
We're looking for volunteers only.
Right.
Out of our own
volunteers. And
pocket.
I'm willing to volunteer free information.
Well,
But you
first
guys don't want it. You guys obviously do not want it.
yeah,
I
well,
want it, and I think you're being misunderstood by Brian C. and Ernst a little bit.
well,
I also
it's be-
think we're being misunderstood by you.
yeah.
But the way we're going to solve this is these basic things, like I'm saying. Would you mind reading Brian's first article and let us know what you think he's doing wrong in it?
Would you mind listening to my raps and tell me what you think about them?
Your raps?
Yes.
Sure. I can do
Okay.
that.
So we can do that. We can get to know each other a little bit more. But this specific meeting, what's the goal that you have with going on YouTube live? Like, what is the goal here?
Well, we were doing meetings, me and Brian, privately, and then one day we decided, all right, let's let everyone see this now, to get people like
Yeah.
you to come in. If
Yeah,
this was
well,
a private
we're-
meeting, you wouldn't have came here.
We know that we have to do PR though. We weren't expecting you. We weren't expecting anybody to watch these videos yet because we're not doing any PR really yet. Hardly.
We are. We're working on essays for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Essays that are going to be on the website. We're going to have a website soon. We're working on that. There's a million little things we have to work on, but to get this going. And we are wanting to do marketing, and we're trying.
The only thing that I'm good at is technical. I'm good at writing. I'm good at creative writing, technical writing, any kind of writing I'm good at, and I'm good at marketing. I'm not good at I'm not going to pretend that I know the inner workings of AI. I definitely I don't, but I know of AI. I use Grok, and I know the limitations of Grok. The Grok.
MC, can you give me your email in the private chat, and then
Yes.
I'll email you with the 2 articles by Brian, and we'd like to get your opinion on that. You could also send your rap information. I'll send that to Brian.
Send it to all of us.
if you're oh, there we go. All right, let me email
I
you.
follow people on Substack. I follow this one guy who's rewriting the Bible from a non-supernatural standpoint. Like he's writing it, he's taking out all the supernatural stuff and just putting it in modern science. And I thought that was really cool how he's condensing the Bible to that. And I like Substack for that reason. But the reason I don't use Substack myself is because I'm trying to turn lead into gold. Like, there's only certain avenues where you're going to get paid to write, and one of them's rap. I write and perform my raps. And another avenue is if you build up a live stream audience. And you can have members of your channel that get, like people that are interested, that do understand AI, can come and they can be your inner circle of members. And you can do members only content for the people that actually understand this stuff and want to talk to you technically. But for the rest of us, for the surface level, you need some sort of gimmick. KAOS, that's a gimmick right there. Like you need some sort of and I'm not saying you're a gimmick. I'm saying that you need someone to create gimmicks, and you need someone doing this all the time. Because I can tell you, whenever I got my first 1 million views, I was astonished. I was like, wow, this market really works. When you really understand it, it has nothing to do with what you want, and it sucks. But it's just the truth.
I think you need to understand the narrow.
Well, reading the 2
goal that
articles
we
will
have.
give them a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm definitely going
that's
to
right.
read it. Send it to me now, and I'll read it, and I'll come back to you guys later.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm sending it to you right now. I'm going to CC Brian just because it's Brian. Brian's the founder, by the way. I just sent it, and then whenever you're ready, MC, let me know, and I'll include you in next week. By the way, we're doing this every week at the same time, Sundays at 8 a.m. Central Time. And whenever you're ready, let me know, and I'll include you with the StreamYard link so you can be on next week or the week after, whenever you're ready. All right?
Yeah. Okay. You can also send an email if you want to talk to me directly. I can also, if you want to do a phone
You can also
call.
do a podcast. MC,
Yeah.
do you want to do a podcast with Brian?
I think he's gone.
Oh, is he frozen? Oh,
Yeah.
shit. He's frozen.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, if he wants to do a podcast, I'm always available.
Basically, that guy came here to sell us marketing services. You realize that?
Yes, I think so.
And he pissed me off. He just wasn't listening to anything anybody said.
Yeah,
there was some of that, but I think you guys were misunderstanding him too.
No, I don't think we are.
Yeah, I don't
think we are at all.
Yeah.
I think he came here to make money.
No, I agree with
And
that.
he doesn't really care what we're doing. He just wants to package us into something he can sell.
Probably.
And that's no good.
So.
Well, we still might be able to learn shit.
And he
from
wants
him.
money for it. So that's absolutely no good.
Yeah. But hey, we'll take him if he wants to volunteer. We'll see what happens. Although we might have
Even if he doesn't end up volunteering or staying with us, we could still learn something from the one meeting with him.
Oh, possibly, yeah.
Well, there's always something to learn, but is it something valuable?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, dealing with him the way we just did is a learning experience for us too.
Well, he came in here and he tried to walk on all of us, and he wouldn't listen to anything we said. He wasn't interested. He was only interested in taking us and packaging us into something he could sell. There's nothing else going on with his presence here.
He was interrupting us a lot, but some of it was you guys were interrupting him, not letting him.
After a while, there's the only way to get a word in edgewise. Listen to him for 20 minutes. He's just repeating himself.
And that's why we should start this system again.
Yeah.
And if he had watched us doing this the whole time, then he'd be more likely to do it too with us.
It wouldn't have worked for him, though. It's not his goal.
Anyway, Ed, I think you're correct. Ernst, I think you're correct. I agree with your view on it. And yeah, it was really difficult to get a word in edgewise with him. He was not giving us an opportunity to try to explain what our side.
He was talking over us a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and in general, we don't. With the team we have now, we don't have that problem with people.
Well, you see how quickly it turns into a mess.
It can, yeah. And as it gets bigger, it's going to be a bigger issue.
It can, but I think I brought it back to where it should have been.
You're a pretty good calming effect there, Rami. You do a good job.
Thank you. And well, anyway, what do we got now? I guess we could be done now. You guys want to stop now?
Oh, I think we've probably done enough for today. We still need to go through the essay again, but I don't think we have time for that today.
Yeah. All right, guys.
That's already 8 minutes to 10.
What?
All right. Yeah, it's already 8 minutes to 10. So I mean,
let's go ahead.
Kind of lost our window. Okay,
guys.
All right.
Okay, see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Been a lot of fun. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.